Welcome, friends. This is an episode 2 of my Enigmatica 2 Expert Extended Modpack, and in the last episode we established this kind of smaller base setup, and in terms of our progression with the pack quest line, we went up to harvest level 3, and we started digging the mine over there, and hopefully with what we find in this mine, we can progress some more in our harvest levels in this episode. However, another thing which bothers me is that we don't have too much food as of now in our chests. So in this episode, I would like to start our preparation for the exploration of the world around us. Definitely, we want to explore deep to find new ores and progress our mining level. We want to set up a food production, maybe establish a farm, and then also we want to prepare for our exploration of the map and build us better tools and inventory. So let's get started. In the last episode, we gathered a couple items I would like to highlight. The enhanced saddle, we got this as a quest reward. The saddle, regular saddle, I just found in a village. And then horse bait was also the travel kit from the very first quest reward we've got. And I wanted to show how the horse bait works. You have to find a region which has a particular block into it. And if you put this in the wrong region, it will tell you which blocks are missing. But right now it says, this bait will work in this environment. Move out of range so you don't scare animals away. After about 2 in-game minutes, the horse spawned over here, so let's take a look. The horses in this pack, they have stats. For example, this horse has a jump of 0.62 and speed of 0.21. So now let's tame this horse. To tame the horse, we need to just wrangle it a little bit. And once it's tame, we can ride it. So now this horse is tamed, but we cannot ride it anywhere because it doesn't have a saddle. Once we put the saddle on the horse, we can ride the horse. And this way, traversing the land is much quicker. We can also shift, right-click the horse, remove the saddle, and then put this enhanced saddle on the horse. And let me tell you, this saddle is just brilliant. This is the main thing brilliant about it. So when this horse walks over the water, it creates ice. So this means that traveling around becomes just so easy. However, if we now look at the durability of our saddle, it decreased because we have used it. So this enhanced saddle, it has limited durability, and this regular saddle has an infinite durability. So I guess we will use the enhanced one when we have to travel far. But now let's travel back to the village because I wanted to show you something. In the village, there is this very deep mine which we can climb down to. And what I was thinking about is instead of digging our own mine to mine some materials, we can reuse this mine. So for example, here we can get some coal, and then if we dig deeper we can get some iron and so on. So we can actually visit some caves and dig even more material. So let me do some material extraction, which I can do with my iron pickaxe. One thing I wanted to show is these crystals. So let's harvest them. We can find them in the caves usually. And you can see this message at the bottom left. Basically, it tells about you writing down some dream into the book after finding these crystals. And if we read this book, it says, I had the strangest dream last night. In the dream, I took 3 of these strange crystals I've been finding and ground them with a handful of redstone in a bowl using a piece of flint. So this is something which we need to do for the quest. And I didn't tell you this last time, but in this pack there is a pretty interesting progression where in order to get to this last chapter, which is a bragging rights chapter, you need to go through several other mods and fully develop them. And these mods are split into magic mods over here, exploration, some industrial mods and stuff like that. And so as we go through these levels, we are getting closer and closer to the last chapter, and I will talk about these quest lines later. But for now, picking these V crystals actually allows us to finish this gate, Thaumcraft. So let's collect some rewards and continue digging through the materials in the cave. Also, another thing which we need to be careful in here, because this whole building is connected to the caves, there can be some zombies spawning, so we need to be careful. So we reached the bottom of this mine. It has quite extensive caves with lots of zombies and other creatures, and also I found this emerald block, but we cannot harvest it now because we need the next mining level. And in terms of the mining levels, I have harvested some black quartz, and if we take a look at our quest, the harvest level 4 requires black quartz, so let's get our reward, and I'll choose bronze ingot. And now that we have a bunch of materials, including 46 iron, which we'll use to fix our iron pickaxe, now we have all of that, let's get back. Back at the base, we are looking at our new black quartz pickaxe, and one of the properties of this black quartz material we use for the pickaxe hat is this depth digger. This tool becomes more efficient at lower elevations, and this is actually very useful because of where we are going, because the next mining level requires 2 osmium, and osmium ore, as the quest says, generates only in bedrock. So we will have to travel to the very bedrock layer and mine osmium there. And for this particular task, I decided to expand our own mine, which is right over here. And so we will dig down, extend our ladder, reach the bedrock, and try to find some osmium. So while I'm digging, I wanted to highlight how death works in this pack. So I just fell down my pit, which I was digging toward the bedrock. And here's what happened. First of all, we get a beacon at the place where we died, and then X marks the spot over there. Then we also have this death inventory list, which lists everything we had on us at the time which we died. And then if I carefully travel down to the place where I died, you'll see this. And basically you need to stick over the place you died, and then you'll get all your items back. So this is how death works in this pack. So as I was mining, I realized that I also want to highlight a quick and efficient way to store your items once you're back. So let's say we went mining, exploring, and we have a couple items which we want to store in all these chests. So there is this useful button, merge to nearby chests. Once we click it, all these items, they went to the respective chests which already contain some of these items. Another useful button I wanted to highlight is this button, a trash can. So let's say we don't need these oak wood leaves, and in order to dispose of them, we click on a trash can, we just move the leaves to the trash, and that's it. They're gone forever. Very useful button. And then the last thing I wanted to highlight is this panel over here at the left. So you know that you can search recipes of various items in GEI. However, if you have a collection items which you need to craft and you want to store all these recipes, you can just hover over the item and click A, and that will move the item over here to this tab. And so in this tab, you can quickly switch between a couple items which you highlighted instead of searching them in a GEI over time. So these are the couple useful things about the inventory. So I dug down and I'm at level Y11, and we can see that there is a lava lake here. And this is good news because this is a good lava source for our smeltery. The bad news is that we cannot really reach bedrock over here because there is a lava lake right under us. So I had to dig a little bit ways away in order to find the bedrock. But then as I was doing this, I found some diamonds, and the diamonds at our current level, which is mining level lead, they are mineable. So we got 6 diamonds over here, and then I got into branch mining. So I started mining over here, and I got some more diamonds, as you can see. So I was mining next to the bedrock here, and even went all the way over there, and I couldn't find any of the osmium yet. Having diamonds in our inventory actually fulfills this quest, collect diamonds. So let's get our rewards. Reward is empowered Diamantine crystal. And the quest says that diamond modifier for Tinker's tools now obtained only with empowered Diamantine. So basically we can use this on, let's say, on a pickaxe here to improve the properties. You can see with and without, the speed grows considerably, attack level goes up, and the durability goes up considerably. So we'll think about what to put this empowered Diamantine on what tool do we want to put this on. However, now I see the problem is I cannot find any osmium at the lowest level. So, but the quest, it says that instead of finding osmium, you can actually fulfill the quest with the pig iron. So this is what we'll do. The pig iron requires obviously molten pig iron, but then this stuff is made from 1 iron ingot, 1 piece of clay, and some blood. So let's get to it. So you can see that the clay and the molten iron is already in there, and all we need is a little bit of blood. And I have a donor over here, unfortunately for him, but however, this thing is called pig iron, right? So this is unfortunate, but we'll have to put the pig in here. Actually, we don't have to kill him. He just donated a little bit. So let's place the poor guy over here and take a look what we have. All right, perfect. We have some molten pig iron. I have found another piggy, and you can see it running around happily in the distance there. And I made myself a pig iron sharpening kit, which allows us to fix our pig iron pickaxe once in the field, and also fulfills this quest for harvest level 5. So in terms of reward, I prefer this night slime shovel head. So now the next quest will be for harvest level 6, which requires either obsidian sharpening kit or skystone sharpening kit. And next to the village over there, there is a crash site of a meteorite, which has a bunch of skystone, and we can now mine it because we have iron pickaxe. So let me travel over there. So we are at the meteorite crash site, and as you can see, the skystone can be mined with our new pickaxe. So let me collect this. So once I finished mining the meteorite, you can see that in the middle there is always a skystone chest, and this chest contains presses, and this is for Applied Energistics 2 mod, and we will get to this mod much later in the pack. However, it's good to start collecting this every time we see a meteorite, so we don't have to do this later. Back at the base, we have crafted a couple skystone sharpening kits, which allows us to finish this quest for harvest level 6, and we collect our rewards, splash potion of fire resistance and flint and steel. So now we can start fires, and that's important because the next thing it's proposed is to craft a nether portal, which in this packet can be either classical 2x3, but we can also make them smaller or slightly larger. I also upgraded the pickaxe, so now it has a skystone head, then black quartz binding, and then copper tool rod. So now, because of the copper, we get bonus XP when we mine things like coal. Then because of the head, it's crumbling, meaning it breaks soft blocks like dirt and sand much faster. And then this tool will mine faster the more damage you have on the tool. This is also coming from Skystone. And finally, the Black Quartz binding has a depth digger property, so we can dig really fast when we are close to the level 0, which is very useful. So now we have very powerful pickaxe, and we have several stacks of Skystone to fix that pickaxe, which means that we can use it quite efficiently. I think now, once we are at the mining level of obsidian, we need to slow down a bit, because the next harvest level 7 requires us to go to the nether. And before we do that, let's take a look at this button over here. This button is the nutrition mod. Basically, with this mod in this pack, you have to eat variety of different foods like dairy, fruit, grain, protein, and vegetable. And if you do, you will get a bunch of benefits. For example, right now I have this toughness, which is on screen all the time, and I'm tough all the time. And this is because I was good fruit eater. However, as these things drop down, the levels drop down, we will actually get negative effects. And we want to avoid this and have a variety in our diet. And in order to do this, we will start to do some farming. So I was considering this hill to be our farm area. So let me level this and get started. So this is how our farming area will look like. We have two 7x7 fertile soil block areas over here. Fertile soil from Rustic allows us to grow plants without need of the water block in the middle. Also, this cannot be trampled. I can jump on it and it will not get destroyed. And then the other thing is that we can grow sugarcane directly onto the soil. Another thing I wanted to highlight is we have this whole chapter, which is called Utilities chapter. And in this chapter, Modpack author, Krutoy242, assembled a bunch of smaller, kind of less known mods in here with some description to them. And I will try to go through this chapter and maybe discuss some of these mods. But one of the things, I kind of completed a couple of the quests here, which reward just a common loot chest. However, this one, the honeycomb, the quest description actually says that the Apiaries speed up plant growth near them. So it will be beneficial for us to take a couple Apiaries and put in the middle of these farm blocks here, so that the bees can help us speed up plant growth. So the way we planted things is this plot will be for vanilla sort items, and this one will be for Pam's Harvestcraft. And I will have carrots, potatoes, wheat, and sugarcane on this side, and then peanuts, blueberries, cucumbers, and corn on this side. And that will give us a lot of variety in our foods. Let me quickly extend the plot so we basically cover the whole area. And I will do with the use of bone meal like this. And then plant it. So now with the farm fully plotted, we can have proteins from peanuts, vegetables from carrots and a bunch of other stuff. Blueberry is considered to be a fruit here, and wheat will, or bread will give us a lot of grain. However, dairy is still not on our menu, because for that we need milk, and for milk we need cows. So let's think how we can get there. In order to get milk, let's take a look at the relevant quest line. And this quest line is just over here of the Harvest Level 3 branch. And we are looking at the cow in a jar. So cow in a jar will consistently produce milk. CGI entry to see how it's crafted. So in order to get here, in terms of quest completion, we need to go through cooking for Blockheads. And I happen to love this mod. So this is the mod all about cooking. And using different recipes quickly and efficiently. And it requires a couple items. And each of these items, they are pretty straightforward to craft. We have fridge, we have oven, and we have this cooking table. So these are pretty straightforward to craft. Let me craft them and I'll be right back. As I was going over the recipes, I actually noticed that the kitchen counter has a slightly more complex recipe. It requires iron storage box, which in turn requires iron item casing and iron plate. And iron plates are crafted like this. This is the engineer's hammer, which we found in the village when we've been there for the first time. And then 2 irons, this gives you iron plate. But this is pretty inefficient because it used 2 iron ingots to get 1 iron plate. Here is what's more efficient. We have some molten aluminum brass over here. So if we pour it over the plate and we allow that to solidify, now we have a plate cast. So now we can cast a plate from a single iron ingot. So if I smelt this iron and I pour it over here, I can get myself an iron plate from 1 ingot, which is twice as efficient. I have all the parts of the kitchen in my inventory, and also crafted this sink just for the beauty factor. So let's put all these things down next to this wall here. So the sink, crafting table, counter, oven, and a fridge, and then also this tool rack we can put over the oven. If you're wondering how I build this nice wall and why it doesn't look like a cobblestone, although it shows that a cobblestone, is I use this chisel, and using chisel you can put the cobblestone in and pick a variety of different variants of the cobblestone. This is the chisel mod. In order to craft the chisel stone, you need to combine the chisel head, which can be, for example, made out of iron, and a tool handle, and then you can build these nice cobblestone shapes. With the kitchen in place, we can complete the quest for the kitchen, and the reward here is the crafting calculator. So now that we have a kitchen in place and we'll, let's say, open an oven, we see that there are a couple things, a couple utensils you can use in the oven. So let me craft these as well. Our kitchen is fully equipped, and I went over to our farm and grabbed a couple things, and let me show you how easy it is to cook with a Cooking for Blockheads mod. So we go into the kitchen, and the first thing we'll do, we'll just cook some flour. Then we'll also grab some water and boil it off to make salt. Then using water, salt, flour, and a mixing bowl, we'll create some dough. The next thing we'll do is bake some bread using bakeware. So now the next thing I'll do, I'll make some cooking oil, and combining the cooking oil with peanuts in a mortar and pestle, we'll get some peanut butter. After we got some peanut butter, let's make some sugar from sugar canes. And using sugar, we'll create a blueberry jelly. So now we combine the bread, the blueberry jelly, and the peanut butter, and create a blueberry jelly sandwich. So this sandwich, you can see it has quite a lot of saturation on it. So eating this sandwich is very filling for us. And at the same time, this sandwich provides us with a couple nutrition. It provides us with protein, grain, and fruit at the same time. So this is pretty good food. So let me craft a couple sandwiches so we have them on the go. Next thing on our list is cow in a jar. In order to get this item, the tasks are to get ourselves a milk jar and an anvil. And you can see that milk jar requires milk, and we still don't have a cow. So let's find one. I have crafted some cow bait here, and I wanted to show that if I just place it, it says the bait will work in this environment, and I had to place some water and some oak wood trees over here. So now the bait will work, and let's just get away and wait for the cow to spawn. So when the cow spawns, it actually spawns as this baby cow. And you see there is a growing cooldown. I believe that is 18 minutes when the cow just spawns, or 20 minutes or something like that. So after waiting a little bit, we got ourselves a fully grown cow, and now we can milk it and get ourselves a milk bucket. And for the anvil, we will have to go back to the village and just grab the anvil from the villagers. And now we can finish the quest, and for the choice reward I will get a common chest actually. So let's get back home. So at this point you might be asking yourself, well, cow in a jar. How do I even put a cow in a jar? Well, let me show you. So you grab a milk jar and you put it over there on the ground. Then the next thing you do, you pick up a cow and you put the cow on top of a jar. Then the next thing you do, you take the anvil, which is pretty heavy, and then you smash the cow into the jar using anvil. The cool thing about cow in a jar is that it's just sitting there on our fridge, and it is accumulating milk over time. But because the cooking for Blockheads is a multi-structure, when this cow in a jar is connected to our kitchen, we can open the crafting table there, and from every bucket of milk, we can craft 8 fresh milk for our recipes, and you can see that the milk was drained. With the milk in our inventory, we can beat it into a heavy cream, and then using heavy cream and some salt, we can create us some butter. And if we combine corn and a butter, then we can get a corn on a cob. So this item provides us nutrients of dairy and vegetable, while our blueberry sandwiches provide us fruit, grain, and protein. And if we take a look here, these are the 5 nutrient types we actually need. So in my opinion, these 2 things, corn on the cob and then jelly sandwiches, these are very good items to fulfill your early game nutrition needs. The next order of business is crafting us Traveler's Backpack. This backpack will allow us to have a large carrying capacity when we go out and explore. To craft it, we will need leather, among other things, and in order to get leather, we will use these ground traps. So what you do is you place these ground traps in the ground, you surround them by grass, and then inside you put some bait. I crafted some veggie bait from cucumbers, so let's fill up these traps, and then over time, these traps will be producing various things like leather, meat of small animals, and so on. So let's just wait, get us some leather, and craft the backpack. Our backpack is almost ready. The only thing missing is a gold ingot over here. And I think that's a good time to highlight one of the things about this pack. And this is that the silver ore world generation is disabled. So when mining in the caves, we will never find silver ore anywhere. And one of the things you can get the silver ore from is by grinding a gold ore. So I have built myself a Quartz Grindstone from Applied Energistics 2, and I can do this because we already found some Skystone and Certus Quartz. So I've built it over here. We can put this golden ore block in it, then manually rotate the crank, and once we're done, we get some pulverized gold as well as tiny pile of silver dust. So in the beginning of the pack, that's the only way we can get silver. We crafted our backpack. It is from Traveler's Backpack mod, and if you have never played with this mod, let me highlight a couple features of it because it is awesome. So the first feature of this backpack is that if you right click it, it has a huge additional inventory in which you can store items. These 9 squares in the corner are actually a crafting grid as well as storage, so you can craft items on the go and then store your items. The other feature of this backpack is that it has 2 fluid reservoirs, 100 buckets worth of each. You can grab fluid out of the reservoir and put it back in, which is very useful if you want to harvest lava or water or some other fluids. Then another feature of this backpack is that right now it's sitting in our inventory and takes up space. What you can do is you can put it on your back and it actually renders on your back along with reservoirs. And that in that case, it doesn't really take space in your inventory. You can set up a hotkey to open your backpack. When it is on your back, there are a couple tool slots over here. And what I wanted to show is that when it is on your back, you can quickly switch between the tools you carry like this on the go. So this is very useful. Then the last feature I wanted to show of this backpack is that if you take it off and you put it on the ground like this, you can still open it as a chest, but then once you open it, you can put the sleeping bag. and you can sleep in a field under the starry sky in your travels. And then once you wake up in the morning, you just pack your sleeping bag, you break the backpack, you put it back on your ground, back, and you are ready to go. So this is an awesome mod, definitely must have, and will be very useful for us in our travels. The final preparation step for our travel is building us an armor station. There is a quest to build an armor station, and I already collected one of the rewards, Quartz Crystal trim. However, let's also grab the book Materials and You. So this book introduces the armory mod. Basically, in the armory mod, each armor you can build contains 3 pieces: the trim, the plates, and the armor bit itself. And each of the pieces can be different, and for each of the pieces you can use various materials. And depending on the materials you choose, you can get various bonuses on your armor, various modifiers to armor properties, durability changes, toughness changes, and you can have variable amount of defense. So let me build an armor and show how it works. Here is what I crafted. Before we were wearing a full set of iron armor with an armor rating of 15, and now I crafted this set, which has only armor rating of 5. But why I think it could be good for us to wear this. So let me wear this out and take a look at the stats. So first of all, every piece here is made out of the skystone core and bronze armor plates, and then one piece has Quartz Crystal armor trim, which we got as a reward, and the other 3 pieces, they have copper armor trim. So let's take a look at the properties of these armor pieces. For example, the helmet here has an alien trait. This means that over time, the properties of this armor piece will increase. For example, the defense rating is 5.07 instead of just 5, so it changed over time. The next trait is stonebound, and the armor will be more effective as it wears out, as it gets more damage. Hail Hydra trait is the main trait why I think we will use the Skystone for the core, because this will make enemies explode as they trying to attack us. So this will make fights with a bunch of enemies much easier. Then the Dense trait, which is coming from bronze, will make the armor last longer when it has less durability, as well as increase toughness of the armor because of the base toughness on a bronze. And finally, the Quartz Crystal and the copper gives us an ambitious trait, and this will give us additional XP as we explore. So overall, this item is slightly weaker than iron armor, but I think this armor will provide us a good fighting chance against our enemies and will be good for us overall. We are now very well equipped. We have obsidian mining level pickaxe. We have a nice broadsword. I replaced the handle to be made of bone because the bone has a fracture trait and makes more damage to the enemies, and also it has 1.2 modifier instead of 1 for the wood. I have crafted us a set of armor which will make enemies around us explode. So overall, I think we have a pretty good equipment. If any one of you know a better traits or a better materials I could use for my equipment, or some other pieces of equipment I forgot, please let me know in the comments below. We also have our backpack, which is full of space for the items to carry, and our trusty horse with us. So the next episode will be all about exploration. We'll travel far and wide around the map and we'll try to find as many useful items for us as possible. But for now, I would like to end this episode and thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you all next time. Same place.